Here we are. Now we have a great story to tell you today from the Old Testament of the Bible. It's about a little girl. We don't have her name. There's no name in the Bible. It's just that she's been in. And you know what? This story goes back 3,000 years. That's a long time. So we're going to start now, okay? To the north of Israel was the nation of Syria. The people there worshipped heathen gods. And during the time of Elisha, armies of Syrian soldiers made raids into Israel, and they took everything of any kind of value. And you know one of the things they took? They even took people, mothers and fathers, and then of course they took boys and girls. And they took those boys and girls back to Syria and they sold them for slaves. Can you imagine little boys and girls being sold as slaves? Well, during these raids, it was a very serious time, and there was a captain there, Captain Naaman. And Captain Naaman was a hero of the Syrian nation. They loved him so much. And he led the Syrian army, and he had many, many victories, and that's why they thought so highly of him. The Syrian king liked Captain Naaman also. So he was very, very happy, and he said, Naaman, I'm going to make you commander-in-chief over the whole army. And everybody loved this because they loved this brave, fearless hero. Well, there was this little young slave girl that lived in Israel, and she had been one of the people that were captured and taken to Syria. Now, she was taken to a home, to live in a big, beautiful home. The lady was a lovely lady, that was Mrs. Naaman, and Captain Naaman was the owner of this great big house. And now we have this little slave girl coming there. She didn't know anybody, she didn't even know their language, but she was there, and they were very good to her. So, here she is. Here's Captain Naaman, and here's Mrs. Naaman, and here's our little girl. As time went on, the little maid noticed that Mrs. Naaman was very sad a lot of the times, and she just couldn't understand what was wrong. And then one day she overheard the captain and Mrs. Naaman talking, and she found out why they were so sad. Captain Naaman had the dreaded disease called leprosy. Leprosy was an incurable disease. You couldn't get better from it. It started out with a little white spot, and the little white spot got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the pain got worse and worse and worse, and ultimately you died. You died from it, and now Captain Naaman had that terrible disease. Well, now the little girl, the little slave girl, she was listening to this, and she thought to herself, if only my master could go and see the prophet of God. He could help him. I know he could help him. He could make him better. So she decided to tell Mrs. Naaman, about this. And of course, when Mrs. Naaman heard it, she was so excited. Her husband could be cured, and she was going to have her husband back again without all these terrible spots all over him. So here we are. They decide that they're going to send the captain to Elisha, the prophet, so that he could tell them about it, where he could get the help. So they got into the chariot and go bumping along. Did you ever go in a chariot? It's a terrible ride. And out in those places, they had to ride a long way. This was a long way off where they were going. And so they were going to see this prophet. And they drove, and they drove, and they drove, and finally, after many, many, many miles, they saw a house back there. And guess what? At the front door, they thought that was Elisha. But it wasn't. It was Elisha's servant. And so, here's the captain over here. Remember, he's a captain. He's a very smart man. He's a rich man. And he says, hey, you, come over here. I have to talk to you. I want to talk to Elisha. He says, well, all right. So, anyway, Elisha doesn't come out. Elisha stays inside. The servant comes to talk to Captain Naaman. And Captain Naaman says, I want to talk to Elisha. I don't want to talk to a servant. He said, look, he sent me out to see you, and he gave me a message to tell you. And would you like me to tell you what the message is? And so he said, yeah, well, what's the message? He said, this is what Elisha told me to tell you. Go, wash yourself in the Jordan River. And you're to do this 7 times. And when you come back, last time you are going to be healed of your leprosy. Well, can you imagine telling this important man to go wash in the dirty Jordan River? He says, we have better rivers in Syria. I'll go back to my Syria and I'll take the bath there. I'm not going to take it in your dirty river. He says, well, that's what the prophet said to do. Well, he wasn't happy with that one bit, to think that he wanted him to go take a bath in that dirty river. So Captain Naaman, he was very angry. He says, how could they talk to me like that? I'm an important man. They should know this. And they want me to go take my clothes off and go in that dirty river. I won't do it. I won't do it. See, Captain Naaman wasn't used to taking orders from anybody else because he always gave the orders and everybody listened to him when he did it. So now he was very sad to think that they wanted him to go into that river and he wasn't going to do it. And, you know, all of the soldiers and the servants were around, they were watching this. And Captain Naaman says, I'm going back to Syria. That's where I belong. And that's where he was going to go. So he got everybody and told them, get ready, we're going back to Syria. We're not staying here. And some of the servants and the soldiers said to him, but Captain, they're telling you to do something simple. Supposing they told you to do something hard, would you do it? I'm not going to take a bath in that dirty river. I'm not going to do it. Well, Captain, you're going to get help if you do what they told you to do. I'm not going to do it. I'll go back to Syria. I'll go in my own rivers. Well, no matter what they said to Captain Naaman, he was not interested. He was not going in that water. No matter how they try to convince him, it's a good thing. Go do it. That's what the prophet told you to do. No. Well, finally, he realized, if I go back, what's going to happen? I can't heal myself. The prophet told me this is what I should do. I'm not going to do it. But the servants kept saying, Captain, do it. What have you got to lose? So finally the captain said, all right, I'll go. So he goes to the river. And he looks at it, and it's dirty. And he doesn't want to go in. And they said, Captain, 7 times you have to wash yourself. I'm not going to do it. Well, finally they said, well, what are you going to do? You can be healed if you do this. Do what they told you to do. So the captain, he stood there, and finally he said, all right. So he walked down to the edge, and he went by the water, and he put his foot in, and then he put his leg in, and before you know it, he got in up to his waist. Down, all the way you have to go. And he went down into the water. And he came back up. I told you it wasn't going to work. I still have all the spots on me. It didn't work. Captain, they said 7 times you have to go down. You only went down once. Do it again. No. Captain, 7 times. So the captain went down. Down. For the 2nd time, he came up. I told you it wasn't going to work. Look, they're still all here. Oh, I'm not going to get better. Captain, 7 times, you only went down twice. So finally he went down the 3rd time. He came back up. Still had the leprosy. 7 times. Down he went for the 4th time. And he came back up. looked around, still had it. Captain, 7 times. So we went down the 5th time, the 6th time, and the 6th time when he came up, he said, "It's not gonna work. I still have leprosy." Captain, 7 times. Oh, all right. So he went down the 7th time, and this time when he came back, he looked, and he couldn't believe it. There were no spots. Everything was gone. He was healed. He was so happy. Could you imagine coming up and finding that all of the leprosy was gone? And he came out, and he went over to talk to his soldiers, and they looked at him, and sure enough, all those spots of leprosy were gone. And now Captain Naaman was healed of his leprosy, and now he was going to go and he was going to see Elisha. Because you know what? He wanted to do something special for Elisha. What do you think he wanted to do? Elisha was the one that told him what to do, and now he wanted to go and he wanted to give him some money or something special because of what he had done to help him. So Naaman was healed of his leprosy. Naaman was happy. Elisha welcomed the captain. Elisha knew that God would heal him if Naaman would be willing to humble himself and obey the word of the Lord. See, Naaman was so used to being the boss, and he wouldn't listen to anybody else. But this time he had to obey because the Lord was telling him what he had to do, but he wasn't interested. But he did, and you see what happened. God healed him of his leprosy. And you know what? This is the time when Naaman realized that all the things that he had been worshiping all this time, he worshipped idols. He had been worshiping in Syria, and those idols were false. They were man-made. They were lifeless. They were made of sticks and stones. Can you imagine worshiping sticks and stones? Well, that's what he was doing. And you know, those sticks and stones, they couldn't hear, they couldn't see, they couldn't answer prayer, they couldn't do anything to help anybody. Captain Naaman wanted to show Elijah how very thankful he was for what he had done. And so he decided to get a whole carload of stuff to take to Elijah, give him, because he helped him so much. But you know what? Elisha refused all of these things, saying, "No, the true living God worked the miracle of healing for you, and I will not accept any payment for something that God alone has done. God does not need or accept payment for his blessings to anybody. You just take all of this stuff and you take it away, and you go back to Syria and you tell the people about the true living God and all of the things that can come through him." You know, Captain, God loves you, and he wants to take care of you. He has a wonderful plan for you. And he says, you take all of your things back. And it was very nice to get to know you, Captain. Boys and girls, do you know what? I want to tell you one more thing. Do you know? There were 3 things. A, you have to admit that you're a sinner. Do you know that we're sinners? All of us are sinners. You know what that means? We do bad things. And you know, I know that when I was, before I got saved, I wanted to go to heaven, but I didn't want to abide by any rules. I just thought you can get to heaven if you do good things. Well, that doesn't work. In order to get to heaven, you have to do something very special. Jesus Christ died on the cross to take our sins upon himself. And when we put our faith and trust in what he did, we can know beyond a shadow of a doubt that heaven is going to be our home when we leave this earth someday. I know that heaven is my home, and I know when I die, I'm going to be in heaven with the Lord Jesus Christ. And all of the believers that have trusted Christ in all of the years. And I hope that if you would like to ask Jesus into your heart, that you would maybe get in touch with Miss Eileen and she'll give you my number and I'll talk to you. I would love to do that. You know, I can talk a lot, so so thank you for being here. And remember, you can't get to heaven without Jesus. Thank you.
Oh no! Oh no! Run away! Run away! The pandas are coming! The pandas are coming! Run away! What do you mean? Where are you going? The pandas is coming! Everybody run away! Oh no! I forgot! What did you forget? Hold on. No, don't. What are you doing? What are you doing? Would you take this off? I can't hear one word you're saying. I don't think it's safe to breathe without a mask on. Didn't you hear about the pandas? What about the pandas? There are pandas all over the place. And if one bites you, you're a goner. Are you talking about the pandemic? Yes. The pandemic has nothing to do with pandas. Are you serious? I'm serious. It has nothing to do with pandas. The pandemic has to do with a serious infection that's been going around called COVID-19. I know, but if the pandas get you... No, wait, stop. There is an infection going around and many people are getting sick from it. And Miss Marian was just telling us about how serious leprosy was. Yuck! I'm glad we don't get that anymore. There are many, many serious diseases out there. Leprosy, COVID-19, and many people get sick from these diseases. You can even die from them. I know that is possible. Some people have died from it. But there is a disease out there that's even more serious than COVID-19 and the panda bears. No. Yes. It's called sin. Oh. If you get one day everybody is going to get sick and die one day. Everyone. And there is one disease called sin. And sin is more serious than any physical disease. If you die and you still have sin in your heart, you can't go to heaven. Oh no, that's very serious. But just like there are medicines to take care of physical diseases, there is a medicine, a cure for sin. What is it? It's Jesus' blood. Jesus' blood can take any sin away. And then, when we do die, and we all will one day, and we'll get to spend eternity in heaven. With Jesus? With Jesus. Now, would you please help me learn the verse for today? I think maybe it will cheer you up a little bit. Let's take a look at this. This verse is from the book of Psalms, and I'm going to sing it first. Okay, you sing it first. Okay, I'll sing it first. What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. Psalm 56 verse 3. Psalm 56 verse 3. What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. That was beautiful. If I remember this verse, will it help me not to be afraid so much? I think so. Would you sing it with me? If the children will sing it with me, I'll sing it too. Are you ready? I think they're ready. What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. Psalm 56 and verse 3. What time I am afraid, what time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. Can you think of any people in the Bible that you would like to be like? I wish I could be like King David. I don't think King David was never afraid. Did you know that King David killed that great big giant? He was just a little boy. He took that slingshot and it went around and around and around. Boom! He took that giant right down. I don't think David was never afraid of nothing. Lamb chop, I've got a surprise for you. What? Do you know who wrote Psalm 56? Or it must have been somebody who was afraid a lot, because he said, "What time I am afraid." Lamb chop, David wrote Psalm 56. You gotta be kidding me. I am not kidding you. Well, what? Wait a minute. If David said, "What time I am afraid," that means that there were times when David was afraid too? There were times when David was afraid too. So what hope is there for me? I'm just a little scaredy lamb. The more you trust in the Lord, yes, and the closer you walk with the shepherd, the good shepherd, yes, the more God will help you to conquer your fear. But you must stay close to the Lord and walk with Him. That's a good idea. I think I would like to do that. Okay. You feel better now? I feel better now. I only have one problem. What? What am I supposed to do with this thing? I don't think so. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, I'm Miss Jill and this is my son Dean. Hi. He's 10 years old and he just finished the 5th grade. Today, I'll be helping him make a delicious, super easy, super fast treat that your young ones can make at home during their virtual vacation Bible school. The treat we're going to make is a coffee mug cake.
This cake can be made in all sorts of flavors, but today we're going to show you how to make the chocolate version.
Let's start by getting together the ingredients and equipment we'll need. Here's a quick list of all the items you'll need, but we'll mention everything specifically as Dean makes it. First, let's get our microwave-safe coffee mug so we can place our ingredients in it. Next, we're going to take our knife and cut the appropriate amount of unsalted butter. This recipe uses 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon of unsalted butter. Now, we'll melt the butter in the coffee mug in our microwave. This will probably take no more than 30 seconds, but it depends on the power of your microwave. Be very careful when taking the mug out of the microwave. The melted butter can make the mug very hot, so either grab the mug by the handle or use the kitchen mitt when holding the mug. Next, we'll add 2 tablespoons of sugar and add it to your coffee mug. Using your fork, gently whisk the butter and sugar together. Next, measure 2 tablespoons of milk and add it to your coffee mug and whisk with your fork. The next ingredients we'll measure and add are 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and a pinch of salt. After the ingredients are added, we'll use our fork again to stir and to make sure it's well incorporated. Everything should now look like a cake batter. Now we can take a few chocolate chips, drop them into the center, and using your fork, press it down gently, making sure it is pushed to the bottom. Now our cake is ready to be cooked. We'll place it back in the microwave and set a cooking time for 30 seconds. When the time is done, be careful when taking the hot mug out of the microwave. Carefully use the handle on the coffee mug or your kitchen mitt. Now we can check to see if the cake has cooked correctly. When we're looking at it, the cake should look a little puffy and a bit dull like cake, not shiny like batter. We'll grab our spoon and when we cut into the batter, It should have produced a cake-like texture with sort of a gooey molten chocolate center. If it looks like it's all liquid, then you want to increase your microwave cooking time by 10 seconds. But if it is cake-like all the way through, then you want to reduce the cooking time by 10 seconds next time. If it's just right, the center may be very hot when it first comes out, so you may want to give it a few moments to cool. But it's best when you enjoy it while it's still warm, so don't let it cool too long. If you're going to add a small scoop of ice cream, you can do that now. And that's it. We hope you enjoyed making this delicious, super fast, super easy chocolate coffee mug cake. While you enjoy it, we want to say thank you for being part of our virtual Vacation Bible School. Have fun, be safe, and God bless you all. Bye!
Hello everyone, hi, I'm Mr. Ed from the security team here at Grace Bible Fellowship for Vacation Bible School. And it's a little different this year. We just want to say on behalf of all my security team that we miss you and we hope next year that we'll all be back together. And don't forget, we're doing the how many's this year. Don't forget your name and your guess. And then you send it to the address below. We miss you and we love you and God bless you all.
What? They canceled my reservation at Mystery Island Resort? Why? During these trying times, the island is still on lockdown. Full refund? Oh, great. I was really looking forward to this trip, too. Oh no. Now what? Hello? Yes, this is Cynthia Melville. May I ask who is speaking?
I am Inspector No Clue, and I am investigating the disappearance of this year's VBS. I heard you were supposed to be in attendance to Mystery Island this week. Can you tell me why you are not there?
I guess you haven't heard yet, Inspector. I just got the news myself.
My croissants!
VBS Mystery Island was postponed until next year. Thankfully, I get a full refund. I'm excited to go next year, though. I've never stayed on a real island before. I'm hoping to beat my Aunt Bertha's record of taking 50,342 pictures in one vacation.
Oui, I'm sure it will be magnifique. Well, if you have no other information, I shall not keep you any longer.
No problem, Inspector. That was weird. Well, I guess if my trip is canceled, better go unpack my suitcase.
Still no idea what happened to VBS then.